Welcome back. It is Friday, and you know what that means. Friday transformation. Yes, another Friday, and we are bringing some transformative food for thought for you today. And you know what it's about? It's all about before you kick it on your weekend and taking self-care moments. Coaching with Mr. Adam and this platform wants to provide you with some food for thought before you go ahead and catch your self-care moments, because we all need those. So today I am excited. I have a partner in hard work here today, a dear friend, and just an overall amazing human being from Rise Up Training and Consulting. We have Ericka Porter in the building. Let's give that a round of applause. Yeah. And I brought Ericka to the building today because we have a topic. And this topic really resonates with Ericka. And of course, me, from my former folks, my camp folks who watch these videos, you know I love my teens. Always been down with my teens. And just young people in general. So today, the topic we're going to talk about that Ericka is going to guide us through is the importance of community for our young people. You heard that. Young people, it's all about you today. It's not about our adults. We talk about them a lot. We talk about what they need to do and how we can help them and food for thought. But today, it is about our teens, right? It's about our young people. And saying that, the topic, Ericka, you heard it. I sent it to you. You know it. What you got for us today?
Awesome, awesome. Well, shout out to Mr. Adam. Let's give it up for Mr. Adam. Yeah, it's true. I feel like oftentimes when platforms are built, it can be focused on the adults, and I love the adults, but let me tell you, young people, there is a space for you, there is room for you, and so we want to just provide an opportunity to share some insights on why it's important to build community, to be in community, to walk this road, not alone. And so, I have a mentor, a coach. His name is Ron Carter. Maybe he'll watch this later. I'll have to let him know. But in conversations with him and some of the environments that he's been in, he says something that always resonates with me. And he says, you can't be yourself by yourself.
Mhm.
Essentially, we were never ever meant to do life alone. We were never meant to just be you and just your bestie. You know what I mean? We were designed, the way we were created, the way that the world is set up is for us to be connected to one another and to have community. And you're probably saying, well, like, who is this lady? I don't know you. How do I know that what you're saying is true? What is your track record? What's your resume say around this? And so what I'll say is I once was a young person. But I have been working with young people for the last 20 years. And one of the commonalities in every generation is the desire, whether we say it or not, is the desire to be connected, the desire to belong, the desire to be seen and heard and known authentically. And you can't do that by yourself, right? And I know that this day and age, it's different. It's different. There's a lot of things that can distract us. There's a lot of things that make us distrusting of community. And it's also really easy to be isolated because we are somewhat connected to the world through our devices and through social
Mhm.
media and the internet. And so, what I'll say is there's tremendous value to an online community because that's where we live sometimes. It's great to be connected to people on Snapchat and Facebook and TikTok and Instagram. But there is another layer of relationship and there's another layer of community that has to be more tangible, that has to be more grounded. And that's that in-person, face-to-face connection and living within a community. So I'm not one of those adults that's going to be like, you need to get off social media. Rah, rah, rah. Maybe we need to lessen our time on it because there is value to community there. Because you can advocate for yourself, you can connect to the world around you. But there's nothing like the world that's right in front of you, right?
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
and I know that it can feel hard, it can feel uncomfortable, you're not sure where to start. And oftentimes, young people, what I would tell you is start where you are. Like it starts in your family unit, whatever your family unit looks like, that's your lifeline. Those are the people that love you. Those are the people that are in your life for a reason, no matter what your family dynamic looks like. Maybe you're raised by a single mom or a single dad. Maybe both of your parents are in the house. Maybe you're raised by your grandmother. Maybe you're raised by a foster family or an older sibling. That's your nucleus. That's where it starts. And there's purpose there, there's connection there. Um, and so maybe disconnect a little bit from the online stuff and reconnect with the people that are in your house. And I know you're probably going to say that's lame, but let me tell you, in 10, 20 years, you're going to look back on these moments now and you're going to be like, man, I wish I would have maybe connected a little bit more with who is in my family, or man, I actually really do need them. I actually really do
Mm.
like them. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah,
there's a
yeah.
layer. There's another layer. The benefit for you right now as a young person is you have a built-in layer now of community, and that's obviously school, right? I know
Yep.
you got to get up
Yep.
early. If you're here in Colorado, you got to get up early and layer up because it's 25 degrees. And you have to get up and do this every day, but you have a built-in community already where you have teachers, you have coaches, you have friends, you have teammates that are already there, that it's already built in. And let me tell you, when you grow up, and if you decide to go to college, great. But once you grow up and you get out into that world and you're an adult, connection looks a lot different. It's not as built
Mhm.
in for us as adults. And so take advantage of this time now to connect and build community in your school. Whether that's you have a bona fide friend group, whether that's you're getting involved in extracurricular activities. I use this example. Shout out to my Cherokee Trail girls basketball team. I know a lot of those young ladies, and the way that they come together as a community and support each other is unparalleled. They have a social media presence, but they also play together. They also are there for each other. I've seen them walk each other through hard things, and it's such a beautiful example of just get involved somewhere.
Mhm.
Just get involved.
Yeah.
You have a skill, you have a talent, you have an ability, you have a passion, you have an interest for something. And there are others that are in your school and in your community that have similar interests. And so come together in that way and begin to build that community. So shout out to my girls. I'm gonna go see a basketball game soon.
I
So
love
that's
it.
yeah,
Can I just stop you there? Because you're throwing a lot of great gems out there. I just want
yeah,
to say
yeah,
that,
yeah,
Erica, you're throwing a lot of, and I love what your mentor said there, because I think, as we try to find ourselves, right? One of the things I always speak about, and I've learned from my mentors, the benefit of others and you meeting other people, right? And your that community base of like the importance of your own self-discovery and meeting them as well,
yeah,
and those two things combining,
yeah,
really creating a more self-discovery at a young age. So I love that you share that about like, um, one, that quote, but also recognizing that while you're finding yourself and you're going through that as a young person, and I know we can fall into and I say we as the older generation can fall into a space of like, well, when I was a teen, and I don't do that because I feel like the generations are so vastly
mm,
different,
mm.
right? When I wanted community at my age, I just went next door
Right, right,
and right, my neighbor, and we went to the local park, right, or we walked to Lake Michigan, Lakeshore Drive, right. It was one of those things that you had those resources, and it wasn't social media, right. It wasn't these
yeah, yeah,
platforms. So in saying that is, I really also um, admire that you said I'm not trying to tell you not to be on social media,
yeah,
recognizing that the vastly differences of these generations, meaning this newer generation, this is part of their socializing. This
mhm,
is part of their community
yeah,
building. It's
yeah,
kind of, I learned from some younger people recently that there's this thing of when someone is gaming, maybe their partner, girlfriend, or something like that will sit next to them, and
yeah.
it's them spending time together,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
right?
absolutely. I love that. I love that. Actually, something that me and my sister do, we call it body doubling.
Mm,
Because a lot of us, and I would even include myself in some degree, struggle with focus, struggle
mm.
with ADHD, struggle with just kind of being somewhere and being accountable to finishing a task. And so body doubling, she lives all the way in Florida. I live here in Colorado. We FaceTime each other, we set our phone down, and we get to work. Whether I'm cleaning my kitchen, I'm doing work, whether she's writing a paper, whether we're studying, it's just having somebody else there with us to keep us on track. And so Similarly to like gaming, that's how you spend quality time. If you need to body double, if you need a group chat and you all are just online, but you're doing your own thing, there's a sense that I'm not doing this by myself. Somebody's looking at me and checking on me, making sure I'm doing what I need to be doing, and I'm doing it
Mhm.
together. And I'm doing it
Yeah.
together. So it's been a game changer for me because sometimes I just need a break and they're like, all right, sis, did you see that funny reel I sent you on Instagram about Wicked? Because we just saw it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
So that's a I love that idea, and that's a freebie for y'all. It's called body doubling. Um,
yeah.
so absolutely, absolutely. What I also want to say is the part of community that it sounds like how it can be teed up is that you need community and you do,
Mhm.
but your community needs you. You have a voice, you have influence, you have talents, you have perspectives that if you don't engage in your community, it's missing something. It's missing what you bring. And so there's also a part where we need you. So, yes, you might be shy or you might feel like you don't have anything to contribute. But if you're here in the world, if you're here on this earth, if you're breathing, if you're located exactly where you're located, those are all not happenstance. Those are very purposeful things that you are where you are. You're the age that you are. You come
Mhm.
to the table with who you are. And we need that. So not only do you need community, but community needs you, and community needs the authentic you, not
Mhm.
the performative you, not the code switching you, not
Mhm.
the imposter you, but the you. And I know that it feels risky to show up as your authentic self because the world can feel really volatile. But I know that your people are out there. And the
Mhm.
way that you know who your people are is when you begin to show up authentically, you will find your people because they'll be like, that's my people. They will identify you, they will recognize you, right? Mr. Adam is one of my people. And the reason why I know that is because I showed up authentically in an online space and we were like,
Mhm.
see something's happening here. And I
Yeah,
expanded my community by just being myself, by cracking jokes, by
yeah.
you know what I mean? So I really
Mhm.
want to encourage you. I don't think that community is an issue. I don't think that you don't want to be in community. I think you just need a little encouragement that you do need community and your community needs you. And it's risky, but it's worth it. Um, I just encourage you to show up. Now, there's another layer, and I'm always going to go here because I am a huge believer of mentoring. Huge believer of a mentoring relationship, mostly because it has impacted my life for my life. I've had a mentor in my life since I was 17 years old, and I am now 44 years old. Tell no one. Tell no one. Um, so, if you desire not only community, but you also desire to be coached, to have access to a bigger network, if you want help with your college applications, if you need somebody to talk to and to play basketball with, if you just need another caring adult in your life, I encourage you to seek out a mentor. And there's a lot of ways to do that. One really easy way is if there are many, many, many mentoring organizations and efforts in your community. Even if you go to your guidance counselor or your school counselor today, you say, "Hey, I'm really interested in being mentored. What resources do you know of?" They are going to get you plugged in because there's something really valuable in having a mentor that can come alongside you and help you become you. Because, like I said, you can't
Mhm.
be yourself by yourself. So put yourself out there in that extra way and maybe consider getting a mentor. I imagine Mr. Adam is going to put my information out there. If you need a
Sure.
mentor, if you talk to your guidance counselor and if you talk to other people and you still like your fill coming up short, holla at your girl. I am connected. I know people, I know organizations, and we will get you a mentor. I believe that as passionately with my whole heart because as I may have mentioned before, if you follow me in any of my platforms, um, there's no such thing as other people's kids. So there are adults ready and waiting
Mhm.
to walk alongside you to build community with you and help you to become your best and greatest self. So
I
that's what I
love
got,
that,
y'all.
Erica.
That's what I got.
You threw a lot of great information that way,
Yeah.
and I wish we had like 30 more minutes because I was like, I have a few more questions I want to ask you, but I do want to ask one question and then we'll get to the 1-2 punch kind of deal. But and I guess I'm thinking more of the parent, right? And I know we're talking about our young people, but let's be, I guess, thinking of a parent who has a young person in their house, right? Is their child, and they know through what their child is sharing with them that they don't have anybody like community or a friend at school, right? Maybe it's someone who moves to a different state, right? Just
Mhm.
plop in any circumstance that leaves a young person alone in a situation.
Yeah.
I guess, what would your advice be, knowing that you work with youth, you do a lot of work with young people? I guess what would be your advice to that parent to support that teen in that space while they're trying to navigate that, right? And I say that because I have a teen. I have a 14-year-old myself, right? And those are things that I know pop in my head because for me, and this goes to me saying not to say it, but when I was younger, right? When I was younger, um, back in that time in the 70s, 80s, it wasn't hard to find friends. I didn't find it hard for me. There might have been other people who did. I'll speak specifically me. It wasn't hard to find friends. I was one who was like creating clubhouses and stuff like that, right? I was like, let's create a bike gang and we're going to bike to Lake Michigan. While I'm saying this, every young person might not have that drive to throw themselves out there. Every parent might not have that push to that proper push, not that too pushing too hard. But
Yeah.
I guess in that question, what kind of parent, if you have any thoughts or advice on that one?
Yeah. That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Because in order to be in community, you do have to there is some part of you that has to do some initiating and putting yourself
Mhm.
out there. I do think the first part is just being really present as a parent. Be watchful, be listening, be mindful to maybe what they're saying and what they're not saying. You also know your kid and you know um, what they're good at, what they're passionate about. And so sometimes it's just getting them involved in something as an activity. And because I know I've let me tell you, sometimes I have some good one-liners, and this one is true. The love language of young people is fun. So if you can find something for them to get involved with that is fun and gets them activated, it kind of disarms them to begin to connect with those around them. So one
Right.
of the ways is just knowing what they're good at or what they're interested in and getting them plugged in. And I know that there are a lot of community organizations that provide that type of environment where money shouldn't have to be a barrier. I know that time really feels like it doesn't always have we don't always have as much time as we want, but if you really want your young people to get invested, let's sit down in front of the computer on a Saturday morning and do some research together on what are the things within a 5 to 10 mile radius of our home that you can get involved in. And let's commit to one for 3 to 6 months. And if that doesn't work, let's try something else. Let them know that you're with them as they're putting themselves out there and trying to make friends. Um, I believe that I've seen it work. I've known it's worked in my own life. And don't stop. It isn't a one
No.
and done. It isn't a one and done. And parents, I know you know that. It's not a one and done. Keep trying things. And I can't stress enough of trying to go back to that mentor because that mentor could be a key to deeper connection. Because I know that sometimes teenagers don't be listening. They think they're like, yeah, yeah, I know, yeah, my mom, blah, 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 when it comes to listening to parents. So come alongside your young person and get that mentor involved. Another way, and especially for those of you who might be a part of the faith-based community, is see what your local church has to offer. I am a youth leader at my church, and I see young people come and go. But when they come into a space and they know that they can play pool and play basketball, but then they also can come in and hear a message that might encourage them or just sit down and be listened to and meet young people that are like-minded. So whether it's a Christian church or other religious affiliation, there's a lot of opportunities for connection there. I mean, I could ramble on as I feel like I kind of have been, but there's a lot of opportunity in that.
Yeah.
I think the main thing is walk alongside them as they do it and be consistent in keeping them plugged in, and something will connect. Community will begin to build.
Yeah, I love that. I think a big part of it, connecting to what you're saying and some of the practice I know I focus on as a parent is one, not giving up
Yeah,
to the support that I'm giving.
yeah,
But also I think the bigger aspect of that is being very open-minded to
yeah,
the differences, right? The vast differences. I
yeah,
love everything you shared. You gave a lot of great gems and resources.
yeah.
I guess walking away, maybe the 1-2 punch, the tangible resources for our young people. Maybe we could center it around. You gave great examples and
Sure.
great resources. Maybe the 1-2 punch resources for our young people to connect with community, to find community, right? Whatever it is you want to put in that. But I
Yeah.
guess what is that before we wrap up here on our Friday transformation?
For sure, for sure. Well, one of the 1-2 punches is going to be for the parents. We've highlighted on how young people can be connected, but
Mm,
your community matters too because your example and how you model community will inform how your young person gets involved in community. So, where are you involved in? Where are you plugged in? What does your community look like? Does it look like a desirable and engaging space so that a young person will want to follow suit? So, if you're not dialed in, I encourage you to get involved in community as well. Lots of ways to do that, like I mentioned before. Um, a resource for young people, I have two. One is if you go to my website, if you go to www.riseuptc.com, and I believe Mr. Adam is going to put that in an informative place. I do
mhm.
have a blog, and it has resources there on how to get connected, how to manage mental health, which might be a barrier to connection. And there's all kinds of resources there. There's podcasts, there's Instagram pages to follow. I just encourage you to go there and see what works for you. But another thing is we hire young people to be a voice for Gen Z. And it is a community. It's called the Rise Up Ambassadors. And so if you're looking for a space to be developed, to have a platform, to learn more about what it is to be in your generation, if you want to be on the forefront of that, I would love to talk with you and I would love to get you engaged. And believe me, if you get engaged with me, I'm gonna find you a mentor too. So, um, those are my 1-2 punches. Check out the website, connect with us. But don't forget that you need community and your community needs you. So it's worth the risk.
Right. Thank you, Ericka Porter from Rise Up Training and Consulting. We're going to give that another round of applause. Everybody, take care this weekend. It is Friday Transformation. Make sure you have self care moments this weekend. Make sure you listen to this video. There was a lot of great resources, tangible thoughts that young people can walk away with. And know that every Friday we do this. So, like and subscribe so you can get it every Friday. All this great information I'm providing. Because if it ain't me, I'm always bringing in someone just as wonderful as Miss Ericka Porter, who's really providing some great gems, some thoughts and advice. I will provide all the links and everything that's connected to Ericka Porter in the description. But my last question, y'all. Who's helping you heal? Peace.